My name is Peggy Meill. I think I know a good number of you. Some of you I have just come to meet this morning. Those of you who know me know one of the most important things in my life are little children. So I have Louis, who's 8, a grandson, and a brand new girl who's about 1.5 years old. Wonderfully produced by my one and only daughter, Augusta. And Ruby is talking a lot, and she calls me Gaga. And she said to me the other day at least 10 times, Gaga, happy. So I want to start by saying I'm really happy that all of you are here. It is the first event we've done under the Baboon label or brand or banner, and it is so good to see old friends come from afar, keynoters wasting a lot of time for this on a red eye. So I thank you. In this room, we have, is Eleanor here? We have lawyers, medical professionals. We have several dentists. Show of hands, Betty McGee, and my relatives. We have architects. Where's my sister, Susie? We have coaches, educators, and I realize designers, artists, writers, organizers, corporate leaders, managers, non-corporate guides that have changed the country and the world in one way or another. So if I did the math, I think I calculated something like 4,500 to 5,000 years in this little room of not just experience and skills, but deep skill sets, deep learnings, findings, expertise. That's pretty amazing. And I don't know what types of people may be missing, at least today, but I thought, if we wanted to, we could actually solve any problem. We really could. And if I couldn't, someone else could. And if that person couldn't, 5 other people might. And so in a way, that is why we're here. That we are the first in the history of this world to have a chance to live 10, 20, 25, and probably 30 years longer than the generations before us. 44% of the US adult population are boomers. The majority of that number would be women. We boomers control women $19 trillion. I have no idea if that would fit in this room. I have no idea what a trillion looks like and feels like, but I know it is very powerful in the world of commerce. And yet, in the past 10 years, the needle hasn't nudged one iota in terms of the number of women on corporate boards that run this world. Hasn't changed. And probably if we did the research, has changed very, very little since the time some of us, like Betty and I, graduated from Vassar and Brown. It's pretty dismal. And so I'm really glad we're convening. And there was a Flannery O'Connor novel, book, short story series, and it's called Everything That Rises Must Converge. I don't know what that means, but I always like the title of that book. And I thought, that's it. Whatever it is that will rise forth today, something will converge. I don't know what it's going to be for you. It might be very different for you, for each one of us. Because unlike what some men, like Dr. Phil, might say, life is not simple. It's not, if I do A and B and C, then I have a new life. But I do believe that there is something magical that happens, because I've seen it, when groups of people, especially women, and now for the first time, boomer women, get together. Not to solve other people's problems, but today to say, this is about me, you, us. And to do it in a community has amazing forces and chemistry and cataclysmic effect that is really amazingly human, magical, mysterious, and profound. So without being too pressuring on you, that's what I love today. And so if there's one thing that you think differently about, small thing, then we've accomplished a lot. Because we've got a lot of years ahead of us. And I know most of us don't have time to think about what we're gonna do next week, next month. A couple people I want to thank, actually. I'm a fundraiser by background, that's all I've done. And on this journey, I intentionally did not spend my time fundraising. So the challenge for myself was, for this Baboom launch, what will I do differently? Really easy for me to tell you what you should do. What am I going to do differently? And layer upon layer of fears, anxiety, old constructs and old ways of doing the job had to be shed. And I'm still shedding, still shedding. And so when a baby says to me with tremendous wisdom, Gaga, fun, I think that's a message. That's a message. And so this journey has been one that has not been of work. It's been one where I said to myself, I will do this differently. And I will bring to the table not people who are known on the speaking circuit, although some of you are, but I'm going to pull together a roster of women that I believe are genuine, authentic, and when they speak, something rings true. And so what if they're not really mature speakers on the speaker circuit? Because we are smart enough to understand what is real and what comes out in a message that might make us think about the world slightly differently. Mass General Hospital, show of hands. I did write a cold call letter to Dr. Torchiana, who heads up really the medical staff, right? He sent it down to all his division heads. And so today, and I loved it, we've got the Division of Reconstructive and Plastic Surgery with us. And someone said, you would do plastic surgery? And I said, absolutely. But not because it's plastic surgery or reconstructive surgery, but because I was really quite touched, and we will not forget it, because you're going to remember the name now, Torchiana, right? And I don't know if you know, but the way marketing is most effective done for the likes of you and me is not a commercial of Victoria's Naked Lady's secret on TV. No, it's not. It's word of mouth, one-on-one. And so I wanted to acknowledge, really, and give due credit to a man who knows that there is power and also good economy and the right demographics of doing something like a sponsorship for a group like this. The other person would be my sister, Susie Kim, of Curator Kim, founder of Curator Kim, architectural urban design. They have built cities for 10 million people. And so She's family, but also it's now a little different. It's woman to woman, one boomer to boomer. And last but not least, it's Cage Kim. That would be me. And I wanted to tell you why I've done this. In a way, it's about me. It really is, after all these years, about me. What I want to do, what gives me pleasure. But also, I think it's about all of you. Coincidentally, or by fate, this group of women who have converged, convened, and been brought together on some journey. And it's because I have tremendous faith in the likes of you and the likes of me. Not perhaps in the traditional way with which I worked and strived, and you work and strive, but perhaps in a slightly different way. Now, I don't know what that means. And what will emerge from today will be an unfolding, okay? So I just wanted to welcome all of you. It's a day for you. And the only thing I ask, as I've done this project, asked of myself, just stay open the best you can. And if you find that you're going back to an old construct, they're not all bad, but that you're really trying to fight, work on it, okay? For me, it's that I'm tremendously judgmental. So today, my challenge is I'm gonna let that just go away, okay? And when it arises, push it back. Because only I believe when we are open, like this little baby, a sponge, can incredibly wonderful, magical, new things happen. And that's why we're here. It's about new life and new paths for us. Is Joe here and Jen? They built the website, they did the branding, they did the chalk work, they did this beautiful collage, and they've been on this journey with me from day one. And you'll see Dania, she's outside, fifth year student. I hope will do very well in the music industry down the line. And Megan, who used to work for me and, like a wise woman, went from nonprofit to the for-profit side. And a lot of other people who've been most supportive through this whole wonderful journey. And the first person who will now speak is just so wonderful. And you've seen in here Yardley's bio. And after she finishes, I'll walk you through literally 1 or 2 minutes of the day's program. So you can read it. I will not. But I will tell you that I first saw and heard Yardley at a CEO summit. And they try really hard in the footwear industry to put women on the platform, but basically 95% of the top senior posts are men. And Yardley was on the stage, and she had a new line of shoes, Marchez-vous, for women. And I just loved her voice, not because it reminded me of that spunky Lisa Simpson, the voice of Lisa, but because she was very courageous, I thought, for a woman who had just entered this new industry, which is not easy, and basically said what she really felt and believed. And I think that's when I thought, I like that woman. And when Baboom began to be born, I think probably you were the first I asked. And her words, which are very touching, we don't know each other that well, we know of each other, that she was honored. And so that's not about me, but I think that speaks more about who Yardley is, where she is, forgetting the celebrity theme, who she is as a woman of a particular age, and as a fellow journeyer, coming together now with all of you. So Yardley, thank you so much for coming.